Alright, yeah, I think I'm gonna have to use Chrome. This isn't working. Alright, is anyone... Oh, shit. It's probably on Reddit. I can probably just find it there. There we go. Oh, there you go. Thank you, Rainmaker. Alright. Festival banners. Okay, fine. Agri's Awakening is not occurring twice on the banner anymore. It has been changed to what it should have been, which is Agri's as Elamar. So, Banner 1, which starts tomorrow. Are these confirmed? Yes. We can get this bigger. Nope. Everything flies off the screen. This banner is exactly how it was in Japan, if I'm reading this right. Fusion USB? Yeah, Fusion USB was there. Right? Yeah. Alphano Glint, Radia, LMR 4, Shanto LMR 3. Well, let me open... this, so we can get a little better idea of what is actually on the banners instead of just the names. So this, nothing here changed. Oh, actually it did. Ultimecia USB turned into Fusion USB, which... sucks. Yeah, this Fusion's USB is not that good, and if you're using your Chain and Arcane is fine. At least Fusion's LMR is here. I think the fact that she's a chain holder is it's fine that her USB's on the banner, but I would much prefer it was Ultimecia's USB. I mean, an ability double versus that. An ability double on a 35% chance dual caster. Ultimately not that big of a change because they're not awakenings anyway, whatever. Oh, well, no shit, Will. Yeah, Fusion USB, Fusion LMR. Alright. So, Rydia Awakening is really good. It's amazing for Odin. And is even good for, potentially good for 6-star Magicite because Rydia has access to, at the moment, 2 N elements. Which is N water and N earth. And she can get that either through LMRs or through Soul Breaks. So Rydia's Arcane, or Awakening is pretty damn nice. It's amazing for Odin because if you look at it, it is not specific to anything. Instead of giving her an N element, it gives magic and resistance plus 30% to the party. And with Mage's soft cap being 2300, that's a pretty large boost to damage on nearly any magic team that she's a part of. Along with the fact that this is, you know, an awakening, and summoners are 8-element mages. Honestly, probably one of the best soul breaks for Odin. And with it being probably good for 6-star Magicite too, because she gets an element, and maybe even more than just those 2 elements, because I wouldn't put it outside the realm of possibility that Rydia gets some way to get Unholy before the Dark Magicite, 6-star Dark Magicite shows up. Because, you know, this is Water, Earth, Holy. She has Water and Earth taken care of. It's not beyond the realm of possibility that Holy comes sometime between now and Dark Magicite, which is like 5 months away. 4 or 5 months. In Japan. So that's like 10, 11 months for us. This is a really good pickup. Whether it was nerfed with the way 6-star Magicite work, but it's still so damn good that it's still powerful. So this is a pretty awesome thing. Alphino's Awakening is a more focused version of Rydia's, as it's also a Summon Awakening, but he gets N-Wind instead of a Magic Party buff, and his... instead of a triple element 8-hit chase, he gets a single element overflow chase. So he's very wind focused. An issue which we talked about not too long ago is that with 6-star Magicite, you're discouraged, unfortunately, from using hybrid parties. Just like you are with 5-star Magicite. But where with 5-star Magicite, there's good rewards for both of them. So, say for Adamantoise and Hecaton, you get those 5-star Magicites for defeating those. So it makes sense to make both parties. So both magical wind mages and physical wind characters are both useful. It's not as much the case for 6-star Magicite, because the actual good reward that you can get is the same for both of them. So you can choose one or the other and get that same 6-star Magicite. You're not completely discouraged from going multi-element or multi-type, because there are Arcana and Crystal rewards that you can get for doing the magical version of the fight versus the physical version. But those are fairly easily obtained consumables, so it's not that much of an incentive. And with the way the game works, with the way the gacha works, I mean, let me put it this way. Would you rather put together 16 teams or 8 teams? Would you rather spend Mithril to put together 16 teams, or would you rather spend the Mithril to put together 8 teams? I know what one I would answer. And the problem with Wind is there's so many protagonists that focus towards Wind in this game. Specifically, the most powerful, Cloud and Zidane. And even Luneth is extremely good once he gets his Awakening. They just outclass Magical Wind so much, and it's unfortunate. So it makes getting something like this good for Odin. But beyond that, it's a lot less useful. So while Rydia's is more value, because good for basically every Odin fight, and also good for 6-star Magicite, Alphino could possibly be good for a single 6-star Magicite if you happen to be one of the people that is able to put together a magical wind mage team. And it's not impossible. It's not impossible at all. because Alphino Awakening is very good. Terra gets a Wind Awakening, also very good. And in current day Japan, their festival, Barbaricia got an Awakening. Ultimecia got a Synchro, and I haven't talked about those because that's a topic. We'll just say that they're better than Awakenings, or they work well with Awakenings. It's not like when Magic is shit. That's not the case at all. If you have like Alphino's Chain and you don't have a great start to a physical win team, okay, you're not up shit's creek. So that's Alphino. Good, but asterisk. Just because of the situation that is in the game at the moment. But next, Shantoto's Awakening. Silly. Just silly. Shantoto's USB was always extremely powerful because of the fact that Shantoto has a built-in cast speed buff with her trance. So the main drawback of witch abilities is taken away, so you get the benefits of witch abilities and the fact that they're extremely high multiplier and high hit. And they're also fast to cast because Shantoto's trance is a 3 times cast speed multiplier. And if you have anything beyond that, it makes it even faster. Shantoto's Awakening is just a super evolution of her USB, which means she auto dual casts, but doesn't deal with hone problems that the USB does, and it gives her Shantoto Trance. So you don't even have to equip and trigger the trance on Shantoto. She will get it automatically when she uses her Awakening. So you're allowed to use her start battle with End Lightning and chance to triple cast LMRs instead. Shantoto just insane Lightning Mage for Odin and 6-star Magicite. And Lightning Mage, or Lightning Magic is in a fairly good position because of people like Shantoto and Ash. And I believe this week, it's Tuesday, so tomorrow, there's going to be a Final Fantasy Tactics event headlined by Rafa and Malik. One of them may get a Synchro, they may both get Awakenings, so that's going to be a good situation. This is just an extremely good thing. But even on top of that for Global at the moment, I know a lot of people, myself included, in having defeated the Final Fantasy 12 or Final Fantasy 11 Torment. Well, this is going to wipe the floor with it. Yes, Rafa and Malik. About time. Been a long time. So all 3 of these Awakenings are good, 2 much better than the other, but even the one that isn't is still a very, very good Awakening. It's just the caveat. Fusion's Chain, honestly, I like it because it's really hard to deal with. Say you had Alphino's Chain. It's really hard to deal with casting both of those at the same time without dedicated entrusts. So what if you don't have to use dedicated entrusts? Well, that's a pretty decent situation. Still, I'm not sure I would like this as much if I had Alphino's already, because Alphino is such a good character. Yeah, he's a very busy guy. Because Alphino has so many good soul breaks. I think the music's up too loud, so I'm going to drop that for a sec. Anyway, there's not much else to talk about here. It's just it's a Gen 2 win chain. Fujin cannot dual cast. She only has a start battle with N Wind LMR, which is on the banner. It wasn't on Japan's banner, it's on ours. That's probably the best thing that they could have done to the banner, was because these are the best types of LMRs for chain holders. Because if you can't get an element, which chain people can't with their first 500 soul break points, then starting the battle with an element is the best possible thing that you can have. Except for maybe start with haste and instacast 3. I'll say that those two Legend Materia can contend with each other. Yeah, she has a quick cast. She has a chance to get quick cast 3 when using wind abilities. It's not great. Good. It's a very good torment Legend Materia, but Rydia Arcane, cool. Rydia's great. Fusion Arcane, also pretty cool. Hard to pull off, though. I mean, that's a lot of soul break points in a lot of fights. In a 30-second fight, you're dumping 1,000 soul break points onto a chain holder. And with Odin and 6-star not requiring 30-second kills, and them having such large health pools, we are going to move past 30-second fights, so you may even be dumping 1,500 soul break points into a character. You could if your team's good enough, Ricky. Yeah, but I've started... I made this one a long time ago, but I've started removing, noting if weapons are plus element because artifacts are in the game. So this stuff isn't important anymore. Water light armor, though, that's pretty good. Anyway, Fusion's Arcane is still good. I mean, if you can find a way to use it with her chain, then okay, sure. Ultimacia USB is not here. Fusion's USB is here instead. It's chase every 2 attacks USB. It's super old. And it's not great. Yeah. Ultimacia USB was replaced by Fusion USB. I will, after the stream, before I go to sleep, I'll update my webpage. Yeah, Fusion's USB is not good, and that was a bad change. I would have preferred Ultimacia's USB to stay, but I do like the Ultimacia LMR turning into Fusion LMR because of her chain. Anyway, Alphino Glint is still on the banner and is very good. It's a N win stack and Glint. Rydia LMR 4 is 20% more damage to summon attacks when using a whip. That's really not good. She has to use a whip to get that. So it's basically limited to, well, not a lot of elements if you're going to use 6-star. And artifacts, I haven't looked at which artifacts. Whips can be. But, I mean, even on top of that, summon attacks have such high multipliers but low hits. So what you're looking for is ways to improve your damage beyond just raw damage output. So this is not a good LMR. Because if you think about it, you're going to Legend Dive Rydia, right? Oh, whips can be all elements? Well, at least there's that. So at the very least, you have Rydia dual casting with her LM2 and 10% increased damage with her LM1. So all this LMR does is 10% more damage than you were doing originally if you've got a whip. And that if you've got a whip is a pretty big if. So this kind of sucks. What the shit, Shantoto, with this LMR? So magical stacking isn't bad for her, but I would much rather use Shantoto's LMR 1 and 2. You know, I guess it might be better than our LMR 2. LMR 2 is start battle with Enlightening. And it depends on how fast you cast your Awakening, or how fast you get Enlightening from another Soul Break. Unfortunately, Shantoto doesn't have a stacking Glint. Alphino starting battle with M-Wind is very good. I mean, he's a chain holder. Yeah, anyway, that's a really good. Garnet LMR 2, Medic after using Bard ability is good. Because one of Garnet's, like, defining characteristics is Allegro con Moto spam with chain. It's what basically what makes her such a good chain holder. And yeah, I know there's a lot of Odin fights I wouldn't mind getting a little Medica help from my chain holder. I do hate relying on them, but there are fights where you fall behind over a period of turns where this could be useful. It's an okay LMR. I'm not going to call it great. But Ultimacy LMR turns into Fusion LMR, which is the same thing but for Fusion. And is very good because chain. It's supposed to be 25%? Really? I suppose yeah, that makes sense. Because it's not just straight up. It's when using a weapon. Does that change how you look at it? Probably not. Not that much. Get ready to dump some artifact stones on whips. If you haven't cleared 5-star yet, this is great for Adamantoise. Adamantoise's passive isn't all that useful, though. Defense Boon. So it's not a boss you need to farm. And it's not that difficult to get a sub 60. I don't know. I don't really like the idea of pulling for 5-star at this point.